What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol PYPL for PayPal Holdings. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, I need to let you know they gave us an earnings announcement after the bell today, so let's flip on the extended hour session and see what's going on with the number. Without even zooming in, you probably could have seen that red candle from a mile away, and this is happening before the number has even been released. So it does look like it's very likely we'll get some sort of gap down. Now, please be open to any possibility here, but we're going to walk through the gap down scenarios because of what's in front of our faces here. So we want to know where the overnight low is. We want to know where the forecasted opening print is, and we also want to know where today's low of day was. Now let's turn that off because obviously that will keep wiggling around. We want to eliminate some distractions here. So in terms of how we play this gap, and it's always the same regardless of what direction the gap is, you're just going to invert the scenarios, right? So scenario number one is always the gap and trap. And what that looks like is opening here, failing to find new sellers underneath the overnight low, trading long back up through the open to close the gap up towards today's lows around 170.53. Now, given the size of this gap down, at least as of right now, I would say it would be completely logical to start looking for a half gap, which ironically enough is going to coincide with the top end of the 5-day balance from last week. I'm not entirely sure if my eyeballs are perfectly calibrated today, but let's just measure here to here, and would you look at that? The 50% mark, pretty darn close, right? If I do something like that to put in the 50%, I'll remove the fibs. It basically is the top end of that range. So I would say the eyeballs did pretty good today. So that's your first target on the gap and trap, then monitor for continuation into potentially 170.53. The flip side of this coin, I'm sure the one that a lot more people don't want to hear about, but is also a possibility, is the gap and go. And that's the scenario number two here, where we put in a bearish acceptance pattern down below. So it could be a descending triangle with lower highs, flat lows, basically anything that sets up a breakdown of the overnight low, which is currently 154 roughly. We're looking for the next daily area of support as our downside target. And if we scrunch up the chart, we know that PayPal has sort of been through the ringer recently with not a whole lot of market structure underneath us. Yeah, this could get fairly nasty, right? So if you sort of align this point here with where we are on the left, notice that underneath us, there's no structure. This big breakout bar, it's not going to do a great job of supporting us. So instead, we should grab a little bit more time just to make sure we're not missing something here off to the left. Yeah, would you look at that? So this to me is really the next major area inside of PayPal, closer to 122.20. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to fall all the way down there over the course of one day tomorrow, but I'm just pointing out that, hey, there's not a ton of market structure here. Maybe this could be reasonable around 140 coming from those two lower wicks right around in there. Let me zoom in so you can see that. I'm just grabbing that and that, of course. So maybe that's going to support a little bit, but really it's not looking hot in PayPal if we take out last Monday's low, right? So going back down to the daily, and once again, you can see if we fall underneath this area of consolidation, there's some room to fall until about 140, as we know from what we saw on the weekly time frame off to the left. So that's what I've got for you inside of PayPal. We have both up and downside targets here. If you enjoyed today's video or learned anything new, let me know in the comment section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.